which you just poke them with a pin or a needle, and then you put them into bottles of gin, and you leave them for a few months, and you get what's called sloe gin. S-L-O-E, not slow as in the opposite of fast. It's delicious. It just tastes like fruity gin. It's very, very nice in cocktails. And there's a funny little myth that you're not supposed to pick blackberries or blackcurrants from hedgerows on Michaelmas Day, which is the 29th of September, I think. And that's because supposedly when God cast Lucifer out of heaven, as he was leaving, he spat into the hedgerows. So you've been warned, don't pick them on Michaelmas Day. I don't know why that particular day, but supposedly it happened round about then. This field on the left, but I'll point it out again if I can see it. Often as well, around the outside of the field, it's a bit difficult to see because it'll be near to the hedgerows here. There's a strip of land which is not cultivated, and farmers legally have to allow, it's about a metre or a metre and a half wide, and in a lot of fields the farmers have to allow this. It's called set aside. And you have to set this little bit of land aside around the outside of your crops, so that, again, for wildlife, so that there's natural plants growing and it's kind of rough ground. Insects and birds and things can live in it. So we do try and look after our ecology as well. Well, folks, I can't tell you how much better the weather has turned out than the forecast. So the sun shines on the righteous. You must have been good. So we've got one more village, guys, with thatched cottages. Okay, so just don't put your cameras away. I'm going to allow you just to sit and enjoy the scenery in a little while. Until we get to Oxford, but keep the cameras handy because you're going to see a few more very good examples of thatched cottages. And remember that you'll only see these buildings in the countryside these days because the Great Fire of London put a stop to us building thatched roofs in the city. So it's in this village coming up that you will get some more lovely, lovely cottages. So after 1666, prohibited in the cities, normal houses were built like this, not cathedrals and palaces, but everyday buildings. And then we thought after the Great Fire, maybe wooden buildings with straw roofs. Bit of a fire hazard, really. It decimated London. About 2/3 of old London was just destroyed. So here are some of the best examples of the thatched cottages. Okay, it's a bit like tennis. You're going to see them on the right, on the left, on the right, on the left, on the right. You'll see a wire mesh over the roof. This is not to stop the thatch falling off because it doesn't fall off. It's fixed very carefully in place. It's actually to stop birds stealing the reeds and straw to go and make nests with. If you don't cover it, the birds will steal it. Another lovely church here on our right hand side, and have a look at this funny little building at the entranceway with a thatched roof on it. You can see there's an upstairs room. This is called a lich gate. It's very unusual. There are not very many of these left in England, and that was where the night before you buried somebody, before the funeral, their body would be taken up into that upstairs room, and that's where you would sit with them until the funeral the following day. I think there's another thatched cottage just as we're leaving the village. There might be one more. Thank you, Bob. Yep, there's one coming up, I think, on the right. Here's another one. Yeah, I think there's another one over on